Hey everybody, it's B-Diz, the Rockstar, part of SuperObvious. In this video, we're talking about The Purge, Season 2, Episode 2, entitled, Everything is Fine. Please like the video, comment below, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Let's go! We start the episode seeing a Zippy Maid's van, which is a cleaning service, and we see that they clean up houses, including all the mess from the Purge, cleaning up all the blood, and bagging up the bodies left on the curb like trash, and picked up by the body recovery unit. You know, just another after the Purge cleaning up stuff going on, like what the fuck? We see a mom and her kids about to have dinner. Everything seems perfect, like the Purge didn't happen. The mom notices some blood underneath her plate, so she just moves her plate a little bit so you can't see the blood. See, it's gone now, and everything is perfect again. Now we see the Purge intro. We see Ryan walking with his huge ass duffel bag full of money. We are seeing the effects of people around each other after the Purge had just ended, including a guy telling females that the Purge is over and they can't do anything, with one of the females replying, "You want to see if that's true?" Ryan walks through the females and they don't attack him. We hear a message telling the people not to touch the dead bodies and the proper authorities will dispose of all human remains. Like what the fuck? Next, we see the morning after the annual Purge. We go to Marcus, where he is looking at the phone that he found with all the pictures of him on it. He flashes back to him and Michelle getting shot at in their home during the Purge. Michelle asks who the guy is and did you find anything about him. Marcus responds no. Michelle suggests talking to the neighbors to ask around. Marcus remembers the neighbors who had the huge ass spotlight with machine guns and says no. She says we have to do something. He responds saying he knows people that can get back at people after Purge. Almost like some revenge Purge kind of stuff. They keep hinting at this kind of stuff happening not just on the Purge. Michelle says, "You would never purge anyone." Marcus responds, "Well honey, maybe I'm changing." He reminds her someone just tried to kill them and he promises to keep her safe. We go to Esme at the NFFA where she tries to get some rest but doesn't, with images of Adams being shot. She starts back at work where her boss Curtis is updating her with a bunch of news and stuff that he wants her to look into. On her computer, she pulls up the incident with Adams and we don't see if she decides to get rid of the file or not. We go to a hospital where we see a whole bunch of people that are hurt and need help because of the Purge. Marcus is there and seems like he is about to start his shift, which is like the absolute worst place in the world to be right now. We see Turner walking his way across campus and we see some of the after effects of the Purge. Once inside his building, he is asked if he purged anyone. He replies that if he did, he wouldn't say, but he did get the pic at the suicide bridge. A girl named Kellen asks what happened to him and Ben and where is he. He responds that they got split up and her face is like, what the fuck? He says he doesn't think Ben made it. As soon as that happens, Ben shows up covered in blood and Turner has the "Oh Lord, Jesus Christ, oh my fucking God" look on his face. No, really, that's what his face looked like. The tension is super high because Turner left Ben to die like a bitch. Ben gives Turner this cold ass stare and snatches up his breakfast and starts eating it in front of him, and you can see the guilt on Turner's face. Kellen asks what happened. Ben doesn't sell out Turner and says they got jumped, but everything is okay. He says he's going to get cleaned up and come back. While he is taking a shower, he flashes back to how he was captured and of him stabbing that guy like 74.5 times. We go back to Ryan, who's still on foot with his duffel bag. He arrives at a assisted living place where he makes a big payment, which is for his mom who lives there. She is happy to see him. She asks what's wrong. He responds that it's Tommy. He screwed up and he had to let him go, and he's wondering if that was the right move. He says, "What do you do when every choice you make seems like the wrong one?" She asks him what his name is, and he says Ryan, so we know that she has Alzheimer's disease, which is really sad. We go back to Esme at the NFFA where she is still looking into Adams being shot on the Purge. She doesn't seem to be letting this go. Her and Vivian talk and they see the footage of Adams leaving just as the intruders go into her house. Vivian asks is there a camera that they can tap into. Esme thinks of the question and says no, but it seems to have given her an idea. She taps and downloads footage from Adams' cell and smart TV to see if they can figure out what happened in her house. We go to Marcus at the hospital where he is looking after some of the injured that are there but seem to be kind of okay with all things considered. Marcus notices a guy on a gurney who has a scar on his hand and it's the same guy that tried to kill him on Purge. Back on campus, we see Kellen walking up to Ben. She sees Darren and he says that Professor Adams was purged last night. Ben responds with, "So will there be class this week?" And Darren gives him this look of disgust like, "You piece of shit." And Kellen looks at him like, What the fuck is wrong with you? Darren says there is something going on later dedicated to Professor Adams' memory if you want to come. Kellen says yeah. She looks at Ben and he doesn't respond at all. Darren leaves and she asks if Ben is okay. She sits down and tells him that whatever happened on Purge night, whenever you are ready, I'm here for you if you want to talk. He says that you don't have to worry about me. She starts reading a book, and we see that Ben is sketching a picture of the mask that the person wore that tried to kill him on Purge. We go back to the hospital where Marcus is trying to stabilize the guy that tried to kill him on Purge night and get some information on why. The guy is in super bad shape and Marcus wants a Narcan shot to wake him up. Marcus asks, "Why did you try to purge me?" And he responds with Ivory Road and then dies. We go back to Ryan where he meets up with his crew. He is told that Tommy hasn't shown up yet. Sarah says that the money they are getting from the Purge heist is less and less from previous years. She says without Tommy's cut, they only have about $200,000, which combined with everyone's mortgage and bills isn't going to work. Ryan is trying to calm the mood down when we hear a knock on the door, and it's Tommy. Ryan answers the door kinda sketched. Tommy explains that nobody followed him and he traveled through several dark zones and that's why it took him so long to meet at the spot. Ryan lets him in and still seems sketch. We go to the NFFA where Curtis wants to talk to Asmay about Adams. She tries to play it off like it was just another case on her monitor. He busts her and knows she has footage of the case on her personal computer. He says, "All we do every single day is look at the worst in people, and that can have you jumping at shadows." He tells her to take some time off, grieve for your friend, and let it go. We go back to Tommy and the crew, and they seem relieved that he is back. It's quickly ruined when they hear sirens and are surrounded by cops. The cops specifically shout and want Tommy. Ryan tries to think of something, but Tommy owns up to what he did and goes outside. The cops start reading him his rights, and they start assaulting Tommy. Ryan and his crew can see everything on the security monitor, and they can't do anything about it. It's sad as fuck, and we see Tommy loaded in the cop car while the others look on. Doug asks what's going to happen to him. Ryan responds, they're going to keep him until the next purge, then they're going to kill him. Sarah says every year the purge gets worse. Doug adds, it's not worth the risk. Ryan says, give me a moment to figure this out. Do not make a decision until you hear from me. Sarah and Doug get all their gear together and bounce. We go back to Ben, who is laying in bed. He sees flashes of him killing the person who tried to purge him. He gets up and sits in front of a desk with a pocket knife and flashes again about what happened. He then starts pressing the knife into his palm like he's going to cut himself, but then stops. And then you get to breathe, because I forgot you have to do that shit to live. We go back to the hospital where it seems like his coworker told his boss what happened. She questions him outside and he tells her he wanted to know why the guy tried to purge him. She seems understanding. She tells him that she will take care of the paperwork and for him to go home. We go to the meeting for Professor Adams. Darren gives a speech honoring her memory and how she was as a person. Next, at the NFFA, Asmay is listening to audio of the break-in to Professor Adams' place. She then replays it, changing the frequency settings to hear more specific details of the audio and cut other noise out. We then see that there are 363 days until the next annual purge. Yo, they are really counting down the days till people can start purging again. Wow. Back on campus, we see Darren. Marcus talks to him, and Darren is kinda like, what the hell do you want? And Marcus says he is just here to check up on his son after purge night. Darren looks like, okay, bullshit. Marcus explains that he needs his help, and Darren looks worried. We see Ryan scoping out some banks, armored trucks, warehouses, and a van that leads to an airport, and Ryan seems to be planning something. We go to Asmay, where she goes to Professor Adams' place and starts looking around. Once she starts going up the stairs, she notices a hard squeak sound, and it makes her start using the audio she has of the sounds in the house to make her way around, which I thought was really cool. She finds an envelope under some stairs, but before she has the chance to check it out, she hears a noise downstairs, where she runs into two guys who are trying to sell the building. We go to Ben, who looks like he may be flashing back to some of the purging he did before it was over. He is about to kill a lady, where we see that he's playing a purge game. And there's a guy complaining outside the booth that he has been playing forever and his little brother wants to play. Ben looks at the guy like he's about to kill him. We go to Ryan, who is giving Lisa, a relative to Tommy, a bunch of money. She says that she has some family in Arizona who are going to take them in. She thanks Ryan for always looking out for all of them. Back to Darren and Marcus. Darren explains how he was working on his school stuff until his professor was killed. He asks how Michelle is. Marcus says she is scared and slept with the lights on. Marcus asks, what does Ivory Road mean? Darren says it's a site on the dark web for illegal activity. Darren shows Marcus there is a hidden app where you can see the person's account, and there was a bounty on Marcus's head for about $75,000, and that it is still active, and someone else can pick it up next year on Purge. Darren says, whoever is out there is still trying to kill you, Dad. We go to Esme, who is at home and getting in chill mode. She opens up the envelope, and we see there is a tape recording and hear interviews of Professor Adams asking test subjects on how their sleeping has been, while Esme is looking at scans. We hear the subject saying that all she does is think about violence. We go back to Ben, who revisits where he purged, and there's still so much freaking blood on the ground. Oh my god. He kinda seems a little too comfortable being there, considering he's seen someone else die, he could've died, and he super duper killed somebody. He finds the mask that the person he purged was wearing. He smears some of the blood over the masks, flashes some killing the person on Purge, and that's the episode. I think Ben's story is the most interesting because out of the 4 groups of people, including Marcus and Michelle, Esme and the NFFA, Ryan and his crew, and then there's Ben, he is the only one who purged someone on Purge night, and we see how this is already changing him. But yeah guys, that is the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about the episode and how season 2 has been so far. Like the video, subscribe to SuperObvious for more content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Totally, for sure.